You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
9 minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show on this Tuesday, the 26th of August. Great to have you with us here on 702. The open line starts now on 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. Here's a question. How hopeful are you about this country? Because sometimes it seems like it's burning everywhere, but it's not, of course. But sometimes it feels like that. It seems like that. And I wonder how hopeful you are currently about this country. Last week we were talking about the levels of crime and how unsafe we are. This morning you've got top cops fighting each other in court. The current police minister, Clement, is on special leave, facing serious allegations, including of protecting business people by disbanding the political killings task team. You've got a former police minister, Clement, who has tried to call a man who is in jail now, facing serious allegations, Clement Manyathela. He tried to call him 10 times before this businessman got arrested. That's the same man, this businessman, who got an over 300 million rand tender from the police, which later had to be cancelled by Clement, by the way. Clement had used the businessman's fancy apartment in Pretoria, and yet Clement wants to tell us that, oh, we're not friends, I met him once. Do they really think that we're children? Look at what's happening at these small implementing entities for government departments. The corruption there is so rife. Weren't we outraged just the other day by the DTI? Is it IDT or DTI? DTI. IDT? IDT. Oh, God. We were outraged just the other day by the IDT. Now you've got the Government Pensions Administration's agency that is in trouble. These people are stealing so much money at these small state agencies, these implementing agencies of government departments. And the thing is, we don't pay a lot of attention to these small implementing agencies. The Daily Maverick was reporting that the Colin Mashabane Foundation received work from the IDT. Tenders. And then Colin Mashabane, according to the Daily Maverick, is busy heading a construction at Waterfall of a house belonging to the CEO of the IDT, the Family Trust, Colin Mashabane. Why are these things normal? Like, why are we not outraged about that? Like, have we gotten to a point where it's okay? Like, a businessman and his foundation can receive a tender from an implementing agency of a government department. And then they are busy at Waterfall building a house for this same CEO. And we are okay with that? Like, we are moving on like nothing happened? We are so desensitized. Like, we get so outraged when a woman or a child is brutally murdered and raped, and 2 weeks later, we've moved on. Is there anything to be hopeful about when we get to that state where we become so desensitized. There are so many things that are happening that are wrong, and we're just like, oh, we're used to this. And maybe we've been abused so much over the last 30 years that we've come to realize that nothing is ever going to happen. People protect each other. Let's just move on with life. We're not outraged enough. I mean, you've got the CEO of the IDT. I mean, the Daily Maverick has released another video now where you can see the CEO. It says, when the journalist says, okay, what do you guys have? The CEO says 60, referring to the 60,000 rand that was paid. And yet the same CEO went and lied on ENCA and said, I was set up. I didn't know even about the money that was going to be offered. And we're just moving on. Nothing is happening. I bet you, is she not back at work? Is she not at the office? Hey, what gives you hope about this country when we are at this state? And what do you love about this country? Because it's not all doom and gloom, and maybe that's what we need to do. Oh, the CEO is suspended. But she was suspended before the video, hey? She was suspended because there was actually an investigation that was done. You would have hoped that maybe are the Hawks going to come in here? Is somebody going to investigate the paying of the bribe? Like, what's going to happen? But I don't know. Maybe these things are happening in the background. I'm so despondent. And I don't mean to weigh your spirit down this morning, but this is one of those mornings where I'm listening to the news, I'm reading the newspapers, and I'm so despondent and I'm so sad about our country. I'm so disappointed in our country. It's one of those mornings where I'm just feeling sad. And I'm sorry if that's weighing you down. That's why I'm hoping that some of you can call and say, this is what's great about this country, Clement. It's not all bad. 011-883-0702.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM.
Antonio, you're calling from Montgomery Park. Good morning.
Clement, how are you?
We'll get there. How are you, Antonio?
Yeah, we'll get there. I think that's a good answer. Clement, I'm going to be brief. I think you asked a question, how do we deal with this? Today it's this issue, tomorrow it's that issue. The CEO of the IDT, tomorrow is an MEC. Clement, I think as South Africans we have corruption fatigue. There's so many issues to deal with. You're still figuring out one set of issue, then there's another one. And I think a lot of this requires a rethink of accountability. Who do we hold accountable? I speak under correction, but maybe we have about close to 15, 20 political parties in Parliament. And I don't think we're holding them. I'm excluding the ANC because you can't hold yourself accountable. As a member of the ANC for almost 30 years, I've gotten to the realization that we can't hold ourselves accountable. But those parties outside of the ANC, how are we holding them accountable for doing their job in terms of oversight? We shouldn't be doing it. They are MPs, members of parliament, members of provincial MPLs, that we should be, you bringing Rise and Zanzi on there. Tell me about a case that Rise and Zanzi is following up, have investigated, and they're pursuing something that they have held someone accountable. You're not there to earn a salary as a Musi Maimani and all these people that of the opposition parties. You're there to hold the legislature accountable. And I think we need to start having a conversation to say, how do we hold parties outside of the ANC accountable?
Yeah. Right, Antonio. So not just the ANC, but what about the other parties and the work they're supposed to do? Buti, you're in the East Rand. What are your thoughts? Good morning. Hi, Buti. Okay, Buti's still sleeping. We'll come back to him. Tulani in Centurion. Hi.
Hi, Clement.
Sure.
To answer your question, the only thing that keeps me excited about this country at this point in time, it's just the people and the weather. Other than that, everything is just it's just doom and gloom. I promise you, it is just doom and gloom. I mean, the kind of things that these politicians get up to, it's a horror movie. It looks like a horror movie, and the brazenness around it just gets you thinking, where is this country going to be in the next 10 years or so? I really, really pity, and my heart bleeds when I think about the future of the little kids in this country. I doubt we'll have a country in about 10 years or so. Clement, if you want a position in this country, you have to be a member of the ANC. It doesn't matter whether you're qualified or not. If you want to apply and be successful for any position, you have to be a member of the ANC. In fact, they go to an extent of asking you, are you a member in good standing? And only then will they consider you. It doesn't matter. You can have the best qualifications, best experience, best everything. A cadre from somewhere who shouts and screams a lot at a meeting, who waffles a lot at meetings of the ANC, will get that position before you. I mean, some of the positions some of us know way beforehand. When they are advertised, I already know who's going to be appointed in that position.
Tulani, that's not a country that's not where we want to be. Rakwena, you're in Pretoria North. Hi.
Hi, Clement. How are you, sir?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I will be honest with you, man. I think the evidence on the ground and the symptoms of a failing state are very conspicuous in South Africa here. We have seen many countries go down the drain, and we have refused to learn from those countries. And now we have allowed the very same things that we have seen collapse in many countries happen in this country here. One of the things that is happening here is that our public service is not performing. It is sort of infiltrated by wrong people. The recruitment of staff in those departments has nothing to do with meritocracy. It's just all nepotism and poor performance. You go to crime, is the same thing. Our police, you can see, are struggling. Some of them, the recruitment system there is also very poor. You can see how unfit most of them are, and it tells you that you are not going anywhere. The very same problem you also see in the army. In the whole of Africa here, if you look at the soldiers, whatever, and compare them with the size of the soldiers that we have in South Africa here, you can understand why they were kicked and humiliated in the Goma there, the DRC, and so on.
All right, Rakwena in Pretoria North, thank you for your thoughts. It's 25 minutes after 9.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
27 minutes after 9 o'clock.
Good morning, Clement. Thomas Mpumalanga. Clement, I'll say I'm still hopeful, man. Like, our country still have good people. Like, yesterday I was listening to another radio station. There's still good people. Still, we'll come around. One day is one day. Like, we just have to get together and then act together. Like, relevant to each other. So, one day, still hopeful. Sharp, Clement.
Morning, Clement. At this moment, I don't have any hope for this country. And to be honest with you, the problem is not the government anymore. It's not the politicians. It's us as South Africans. We take everything as a joke, and we will never get anywhere with that attitude. So these people have seen that we don't care about our country. So why must they care? They're rather to keep the park.
Hi, Clement Mhlengwe here in Bramfisherville. Regarding, how I feel personally about South Africa at this juncture, there's nothing to be pleased about, Clement. The high levels of crime, high levels of unemployment, corruptions, potholes all over, and again, corrupt policemen. I'm telling you, Clement, I've got every reason to be despondent. You know, this country needs a new government. People who will work tirelessly in the economic field, in the law and order field, in the ethics field, to bring this country to where it should be. There's nothing to celebrate, unfortunately, Clement. Nice show as always. Thank you, Madumecha. Bye.
Clement, I trust you well. Clement, one would like to be hopeful, but the problem is the little good that we see is being overshadowed by the bad committed by leadership. The leadership that is even unable to offer solutions to daily problems that people are faced with. That's the predicament we find ourselves in, unfortunately. Anonymous.
Yeah, look, as I said, it may seem like things are bad, but it's not all doom and gloom. I absolutely do not believe that we are a failed state. I've said this last week as well, after what Bonang Mahale said on Breakfast with Bongani. I don't think we're there. I just think there are days when you are so despondent. Like, everything is just like, when you listen to the news and you're like, oh my goodness, is this the country where I really want to raise my children? Like, I found myself asking that question today. I was like, do I want my children to be raised here? Like, what country are we handing over to the next generation? Is there even going to be a country to hand over? In fact, we should do a series on the show and look at the implementing agents of these government departments, because that's where the stealing is happening. That's where it's so brazen. That's where they will pay 20 million rand for something that doesn't exist, for a service that doesn't even exist, or service that hasn't been given. That's why, because we're not paying attention to that. We're just focusing on Transnet and Eskom or the main departments, but there are agencies within those departments that are, remember On Point Engineering? There are agencies that are implementing agents, and the comrades are eating so much there because we are focusing on the bigger departments, and we need to start zooming into each department. What implementing agencies do they have? Who's in charge? What's happening there? It's 9:32.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
It's 23 minutes before 10 o'clock. I'm going to speak in a moment to the Higher Education Committee Chair, who's in studio with us. But let me just play a couple of voice notes first, and then we'll start our conversation.
Morning, Clement. I also feel quite despondent most of the time in South Africa. But, just looking at some of the opposition party ministers who are now in government, Mr. Groenewald, McPherson, Schryver, and even Gayton McKenzie, they seem to give me a bit of hope that, we can turn things around. Thanks.
Clemmy, goeiemorgen man. Floris here from the Western Cape. Clemmy, yeah, I would like to remain or stay patriotic and try to be positive about South Africa. Yeah, but sometimes it's extremely difficult, man. You need to plan for your future, your legacy. I work for an organization where we have friends and organizations who help us both in Switzerland and in the US. And on numerous occasions, just last week also, I get invites to come and stay there for a few years and work there. But yeah, I'm going to miss South Africa, man. And I'm really thinking whether I should leave and just leave South Africa behind or remain here and try and fight for what's ours. Have a good show. Bye-bye.
Good morning, Clement and the 702 family. Clement, unfortunately, it's all doom and gloom in South Africa. So whatever little that is there, maybe we may say, maybe gives us hope. Unfortunately, it's a matter of time. It too will be taken away from us. So nothing lasts. You can't celebrate anything because tomorrow you'll wake up, that thing won't be there. Look at the police force. There was a time when we believed that the police were doing their job. and then they were fighting crime until General Mkhwanazi made those statements. Unfortunately, it's terrible. Kenny speaking.
Clement, what hope when the current sitting president, millions were found in his couch, and yet nothing has been done to him. He was cleared by the NPA, so what hope should we have as ordinary citizens? It's bad, it's bad, Clement, it's bad. Millions and millions of illegal immigrants are in the country. The leadership is saying nothing. So, it shows where the country is going.
They don't even know how many illegal immigrants are in this country. They have no way of telling. Ntsapokazio on the YouTube line says, Clement and the 702 family, we are in a sad state of affairs, but I remain one of the hopeful citizens. We cannot allow ourselves to give up. We have the power to change. Kolela on YouTube also says, Clemi, the only thing good about Mzansi is the love we have for our country, and believe me, we will not let it burn to the ground. When the need arises, I trust South Africans to unite and save the flag. And I think you're right. As I said, I'm not convinced that it's all doom and gloom. I think when you compare us to other countries, we have it better. But I worry that sometimes we get to a point where we are so desensitized. So there are certain bad things that happen and we just move on. Like, I've just given you a few examples, and I could spend the whole hour telling you about government entities or the corruption that has been revealed in just the last 3 months. I've just given you one example or two or three. I'm saying when I listen to the news and how we are just moving on and everything is normal, I'm like, what society are we building where there's just such brazen corruption, where there's such lack of accountability, where there doesn't seem to be passionate interest from those in law enforcement to go after these guys at the top? And I worry about that. I really do. It's 19 minutes before 10.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Here's something else I'm worried about, and I'm glad we've got Tebogo Letsie, who's the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Higher Education, in studio with us. The decision that the Higher Education Minister has taken, and I'm worried about it on two fronts, which I want to address with the chair of the Portfolio Committee on Higher Education. Tebogo, thank you for coming to studio. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement, to yourself. Good morning to the listeners, and thanks for having us.
So the first issue, I spoke to two CEOs of the SETAs that the Minister of Higher Education has placed under administration, and one of the things they are concerned about is that he didn't follow the right process. They explained, Mr. Shezi explained, one of the CEOs, what process normally needs to be followed before you place a SETA under administration. As the Committee on Higher Education, how do you assess that? Were you told about this decision, and was the law and the process followed?
No, thank you very much, Clement. The minister wrote to me on the 19th of August 2025 in the morning, indicating that he has decided to put the 3 SETAs under administration. And the reasons, and I want to quote what he wrote to me so that we're not quoted out of context. So he says the intervention follows serious and entrenched governance and administrative failures in these entities, including procurement irregularities, lapse in oversight, and instability in their governance structures, which pose the risk to their ability to fulfill their statutory mandate. Then he goes further to indicate who he has appointed as administrators and the mandate of those administrators. On the same day, I wrote to him indicating that we've taken note of his decision, but can he please clarify? And in my letter, I'm asking him to give us a sense of the process that he has followed, so that when you guys, on behalf of South Africans, ask us questions, we're able to respond to you guys factually and without thinking what the minister was thinking, because that would have meant now we were venturing on becoming prophets. So I wrote to him on the same day and I said, please clarify which process do you follow, and all this governance collapse and all of that relates to which SETA. So write to us, indicate construction SETA, these are the reasons, LG SETA, these are the reasons, services SETA, these are the reasons. On Saturday, the 23rd, in the evening, I then saw an email which was dated the 22nd, which was a day before. In the letter, literally, the minister said to us he has subjected this process to a public service commission, and he's willing to come and explain. I wrote to him yesterday again, indicating that subjecting this thing to the Public Service Commission is all well and good. But the constitution of this country, Section 55, mandates him to account to us as the portfolio committee. Section 92, subsection 2 of the constitution instructs him as a member of cabinet to subject himself to public scrutiny through the portfolio committee. So I then wrote to him and I said, please respond. I hear you have subjected the vetting part and all of that to the Public Service Commission, but you are still required to respond to the portfolio committee. Here are the questions that I still want you to respond. He has not. I've given him till tomorrow to respond to those particular questions. So we don't know what was the process he followed. That's why we've asked. We don't know whether he has vetted these people or he knew about.
I'll get to the people in a moment. I mean, also, do you remember the last time you were here?
Yes.
You and I had a conversation, and then what happened like a few hours later? Do you remember what happened?
No, when I was here, later on when I landed actually in Cape Town, I realized when I opened my phone, I realized that the president had decided
to fire the higher education minister.
Yes, and
part of that reason is because she just didn't want to present herself to be accountable to Parliament, and she couldn't even explain some of the decisions that she had taken, and it appears like the minister is struggling to explain. So let's start first. What the National Skills Development Act is very clear about what you have to do before you place any SETA under administration. You have to write to the SETA that is concerned. You have to raise concerns. After the response, you issue instructions on what to do. If you fail, if maybe they fail, then Section 15 kicks in. You can place that SETA under administration. If there's any financial mismanagement or they fail to discharge their responsibility, if the boards are not representative of constituent sectors. But the SETAs that are placed under administration, well, at least the ones I spoke to yesterday, they're saying the minister hasn't even written to them. Like, there's no email or meeting that happened where the minister raised any sort of concern about these specific SETAs. So already the minister has not followed the process.
Yeah, they've written to me as well. They've indicated that their intention to challenge this process or the decision of the minister through other means, because that process did not happen. That is why I've written to the minister to explain. So that at least we're on the same page. I also heard that when I was coming here, you said that the DG
was asked by the SETA CEOs that what are the reasons, and he doesn't know. He said, well, it's the minister's decision.
Yeah, that is very strange, because if you look at Section 15, subsection 1, it says that after consulting with the NSA, the Director General or the Minister may direct the Director General to appoint this administrator. So if he doesn't know, then it gives us a little bit of a problem. But you'll remember even in the previous time, the DG would have said he's not aware of all of these things. And at the later stage, it came out that, the DG, people in the DG's office knew, but he says he did not know.
He didn't know about it.
So this really does not smell good.
I'm looking forward to when the minister will respond to your email. You said you've given him until what, tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Let's see how he explains this process. And I hope he's not going to say to you that, oh, the matter is now under the Public Service Commission. That's a separate process. He's still accountable to Parliament. He must explain why he took this decision without following as required by the Skills Development Act. Number 2, he has appointed these administrators to these seaters. Now there are questions that have been raised by the EFF and the DA. These people have questionable background. Now the minister says to the Public Service Commission, oh, please can you come and do background checks and vetting on these people? Is that what's supposed to happen? Ministers just appoint administrators without doing background checks, and then they do background checks after the fact when people have already started their work?
No. So we have departments for a reason. The Department of Higher Education and Training should have probably shortlisted a number of people and said, Minister, these are the people that we believe if we put this particular seater, let's say construction seater, under administration, these are the 4 people who must look at, and these are their CVs, and this is the work that we have done on them. So the Department of Higher Education and Training should have done that particular thing. So when we meet with the minister, I think we will try and uncover what was the process there, because we have departments for a reason. We have a Director General, we have DDGs, or Deputy Director Generals, we have Assistant Director Generals for a reason. These people have got jobs to do. And if they did not do their jobs in this particular instance, then we are going to have a problem, because we can't, the South Africans can't continue to pay people salaries and they are not doing their jobs in the offices. So there is a process that was supposed to have happened. We will find out from in our engagement with the ministry what was that process, and if it was processed properly, and if not, what will be the consequence for management, because it can't be business as usual. This is not the first time this thing is happening. It's as if now higher education and training is just about sitters and being on media for wrong reasons.
And putting up comrades in positions. I mean, it's going to begin to look like that now. Such a critical institution like higher education.
Yeah, but we don't have comrades. I think this one I must clarify. I mean, I've never come across, I've been in the ANC for a long time, I've never come across the name of Upangwana as a comrade somewhere. I've never come across the name of Zugile Mvalo as a comrade somewhere. I've only come across a long time ago Letlogono Masoga as a provincial secretary of the Youth League. Long
he was
time
also
ago.
MEC in Limpopo.
Yes, but
Isn't
he was
that a
still in the
comrade?
Youth League. He was
an ANC person.
Yes.
That's what I mean by comrade.
Yeah, but you are talking about 1 person in 3, and the generalization is not looking good. But also,
What about Nkwana? He was
what?
Was Nkwana not in the ANC?
I don't know. I've never seen him in the ANC.
So how could you say conclusively that that's not a comrade?
No, I've listened to the accusations, or the people who are making these accusations. The DA, for an example, they look at every name here and then they just throw it and say comrades. They've never proven that this person.
Now I'm saying Masoga is the ANC.
Yeah.
Do we agree on that?
Masoga used to be the provincial secretary of the Youth League.
Yes. So he was with Abu Butima Namel, was he not?
No, I think he was the provincial secretary when Julius was president. So are we saying
that
that
they were
because
comrades in the ANC?
Julius was the president of the Youth League, his ANC today is not. So you don't know whether people have moved and all of that. So we can't make those.
But the last information we have of this man was he was in the ANC. In fact, he was MEC under an ANC administration.
Yes.
Nkwana was the former manager at the Mfuleni local municipality.
Yeah.
He was in the ANC.
No, how do you know?
Well, that's the information I've gotten from people who are in that part of the metro. So I don't know of him as a DA or EFF. I don't know that unless it's changed. Maybe he can share that with us. I've tried to bring him on the show. He doesn't want to come. So when you get information, maybe that contradicts that, let me know. If he's joined the EFF, please, I'd love to know, or maybe the MK party. My understanding is he's still in the ANC.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether he was ever in the ANC. He was a municipal manager in the Mfuleni, but I don't know him as a member of the ANC. I must confess.
Yeah. Okay. Tebogo Letsie, thank you so much for speaking to us. We'll keep a close eye on this story. We'll find out if the minister does respond tomorrow, explaining the process, and also on the 12th of September.
Yeah, we have applied for the 12th of September, and we're hoping that the chair of chairs will give us that day, and then we will continue to give feedback to the people of South Africa where we account.
Okay.
So as soon as we get that approval, we will communicate.
Thanks for making time for us.
Thank you very much.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
7 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's go back to your WhatsApps.
Hi Clement, great show as always. My name is Ntalo, all the way from the UK, Scotland. So the only thing I miss about SA is just the weather. Other than that, man, the country's really going down the drain. So yeah, man, we're doomed.
Clement and the team. For me, I'm always hopeful a little bit. But then over the weekend, when I saw all those newspapers and I saw all the money that's been stolen, and then every single time you hear the police don't have money, the army don't have money, they don't have money, like, and the service delivery is dwindling, like, and then you see all of them, like this weekend was horrible when it comes to like the state, like people stealing money from the state, like it was, the prisoner one was like, oh my goodness, like it was like something else. For me, I hope, but sometimes it's like, you get so defeated, you get so demoralized that you're like, where is this country going? Because it seems like we have no leader. That's how yeah.
Hi, Etlem, Tabo here. It looks like all of these guys are doing things willy-nilly. They just don't consider anything before they do anything. Who are advising them? Who are there to advise them before they take this kind of decisions? It's appalling, really. It's appalling.
It is.
After so many years in government, these guys can't even follow a simple procedure of doing things. It's unbelievable. Yes, like we are really still in trouble. I'm definitely sure. It's high time this ANC gets archived, Clement. Seriously so.
Yeah, it is frustrating. It really is frustrating. I can't wait to hear what the minister's explanations are, because he just got it wrong in my view on two fronts. One, he just didn't follow the process he should have followed here based on what the SETA CEOs are saying. Right? Two, he has appointed people without doing vettings on them. And then wants the Public Service Commission to come in and do the work that the department should have done. That's crazy, man.